Sharkie Gamer here. So today we're going to take a look at the Ninja Gaiden 3 Dragon Sword bundle for the PlayStation 3. So this is basically a bundle that includes the Ninja Gaiden 3 game for PS3, as well as the Dragon Sword Move accessory. So the accessory that's shaped like a sword for the PlayStation Move motion controller. So first, let's take a look at the box. So taking a look at the box, up the top it says for PlayStation 3, PlayStation Move compatible. And going down, it's got some cool kind of blood splatter effect. It shows you the game inside the box, and it also gives you a sneak peek at the actual Dragon Sword accessory itself. And down here it says Dragon Sword, universally compatible with all PS3 games. And of course, yeah, it reminds you, Move motion controller not included. On the sides of the box, it's pretty plain. It has different languages down the bottom, and it's got this cool kind of blood splatter effect, and of course it says Dragon Sword. Same sort of deal with the other side, except this side shows you a cool image of the actual Dragon Sword accessory. The silver blade contains liquid blood. The liquid blood runs freely along the blade and has a realistic look. The bottom is pretty plain, same with the top. Moving on to the back, it actually gives you a sneak peek at the actual Dragon Sword accessory inside there. You can see the blood in the blade there. So it gives you a sneak peek at the different parts. And down here it goes through some of the features. The silver blade contains the liquid blood. The liquid blood runs freely along the blade and has a realistic look. New innovation in reality gameplay. Recharge cable, full accessible design. Open access to all communication ports. Durable soft material encased for safety in motion controller gameplay. Universally compatible with all PS3 Move games. And of course it's got the actual sword here. And if you look down here, it's actually got the company. The company is called Eagle 3. So that is the back of the box. So now let's go ahead and open this up and take a closer look at this accessory. Okay, so first off, on the other side here, you've got the Ninja Gaiden 3 game for PS3. That's the back of it. Opening up, you've got the disc, and of course you've got your standard manual as well in there. So you get the full game with the set. It's pretty cool. And of course you get the accessory, the Dragon Sword. So you get different parts. So you've got the blade first off, and the blade has that kind of fake blood in it. So if you move it around, that kind of a blood liquid kind of moves around in the blade. You can see it just runs freely through the blade where you move it. Next, you've got the hilt piece here, which I'll show a bit more in a second. And then of course you've got the actual sword handle. Which has got this cool kind of material effect here to make it look like it's a dragon sword right out of the game. So they have made it look just like a dragon sword in the game itself. Looks pretty cool. Just move this plastic out of the way. Okay, so you get 3 parts. So to assemble it, you first need to grab your Move motion controller. So you got the Move motion controller here. This one actually fits inside the handle here. So you thread the wrist strap through there. You clip the controller into place like this. And of course make sure that you can reach the trigger at the back there. And all the functions in the front. And the wrist strap just goes through that gap. And notice how it doesn't restrict any ports here. So you can still charge it, and etc. So it doesn't restrict any of those ports just down the bottom. So it's pretty cool. This bit comes up top there. So that's what the handle looks like once the Move is actually in there. And of course, if you wanted to, you could just play the game like this. So you have a cool handle that you can use. or you can assemble the full sword. It's totally up to you. If you don't have enough space to really swing a sword around, then you may be better just to have just like this, or to have the hilt on as well. So next you need to put the blade on. So the blade actually slides into this groove just up there. So you've got a groove down there, and you notice it's got a curved edge. That's the edge that goes inwards, because then it matches up with that move controller. So you just slide it in there until it won't go any further, and it lines up nicely. So that's what it looks like with the blade on. And now to secure it, you use the hilt. So the hilt is actually two pieces. You'll notice there's actually little clips either side here. If you press those down, you can pull this out. And now with that out, you can actually assemble this. So you just got to line the grooves up here, which can be the trickiest part. Helps to put it the right way around. And there we go. That's half of it. You take the other half here, and you just need to line it up with the other half. And make sure you try to clip them in together evenly, so both clips clip in at the same time. And those clips basically hold everything together, so it's not going to fall apart when you start to swing it around. So it's basically just like a safety clip almost. But like I said, you can actually leave the blade completely off and just have the handle and the hilt if you want to. Putting the blade on is totally up to you, an optional kind of extra. But once it's fully assembled, this is what it looks like. It looks pretty cool. That's the other side, the front, the back, and of course you got that kind of blood effect in the blade. So when you move the blade down, the blood kind of runs down the center. So it's a pretty cool kind of blood effect. You can flip it over, does the same thing on the other side. So the idea is it's supposed to look like blood dripping down the actual blade itself. So it's a pretty cool looking effect. Holding this is pretty cool. It feels like you're holding a sword. You of course got your hilt, and the hilt itself has some really nice details on it, as you can see. Looks really cool. And going to the handle again, it kind of matches just perfectly. It does look like a dragon sword. And then you move up back to the blade. So in all, the controller looks pretty cool. Using it in the game is pretty much just using it just like a sword. You can just swing it around. And the biggest thing I say about this, and that's why I kept saying you can leave this off, is if you don't have space, the best idea is to leave this blade off, because if you don't have space, you're going to end up hitting things. So you don't really want to hit things and knock things around in your game room, so it is best to remove this if you do not have enough space to swing a sword. It's not hugely long, but it's long enough that if you don't have enough space, it will get in your way. So it might be a good idea just to remove this to play with it, and then when you want on display, you can just hook it back up and have it sitting there until you want to use it. Especially if you want to mess around and play around with that blood effect, because that blood effect does look pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little effect that they put into it. And it makes it look a little bit more impressive than your standard kind of move accessory, because it's not just like a plain colored silver sword or something really kind of plain and ugly. This thing they put a little bit of effort into to make it look good. You know, you got the blood effect in the blade, you got the silver color of the hilt, you got the kind of cloth in the handle there to make it look like a dragon sword from the game. So they have put some effort into it to make it look like a dragon sword, even though they had to make some accommodations to actually fit the move motion controller in there. So even though it doesn't look like an exact replica, it definitely looks like a cool accessory that matches the game perfectly. So if you're a fan of the Ninja Gaiden 3 game, or just the Ninja Gaiden series in general, this is something to have in your collection. It's a cool looking blade, you get the game and the blade together, and really it doesn't cost more than just getting the game on its own. So if you're going to pay this sort of similar price, why not get the bundle? So the bundle is quite a decent price most times. Most places I've seen it between usually $40 and $50, and of course you get the blade the Dragon Sword, as well as the Ninja Gaiden 3 game in that bundle. Sometimes you can see it up to about $60. I guess it just really depends on where you go to get it, but usually you can find them pretty easily. I think they're on Amazon at the moment. Last time I checked, they were on Amazon anyway. So overall, this is a pretty cool accessory. It works really well when you're swinging in the game because you're using the motion controller. What I found is it doesn't seem to obscure this at all if you're having it like this. The PlayStation Eye can still see the light of the actual orb, so you have no problem with it actually seeing it. So whether you play it with the blade or without the blade, it doesn't really matter. It's totally up to you and what space you have in your game room when you're playing this, and how you want to play it. If you don't like that kind of blood look all the time, when you're swinging it or whatever like that, you can just remove the blade altogether. So it's totally optional to whatever you would like to do. But it's a pretty cool accessory. It looks really awesome, and this looks pretty cool on display as well. So when you're not using, you can just put on display, and you don't really have to have the move controller in to put on display. That way you can mess around with that kind of blade, make the blood drip a little bit if you like that. But definitely a little novelty move accessory, basically for fans in the Ninja Gaiden series. Pretty cool, and it's a very good price for this bundle where you get the game as well as the Dragon Sword move accessory. So what you get with it, it's very good value, and it looks a bit better than your standard generic move accessories. Anyway guys, that's about all I can say about this one. It's a pretty good value bundle, and it's a pretty cool looking accessory. And I do really like this kind of blood effect in the blade. It shows they put a little bit more effort to make it look a little bit more cooler than your standard kind of generic accessory. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. I am Sharkie Gamer. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll have heaps more gaming controller and accessory videos up very shortly. If you like this video, hit that like button. Really helps out a lot guys. And as always, feel free to leave a comment down below if you want to. And share the video, as that helps spread my video around. Anyway guys, thanks for watching.